The last time I was on a horse, I would bareback my very old horse to wrangle up some cattle, but other than that, I have zero experience. Probably within the last couple of years, but it was maybe 2 or 3 times, and it was terrifying.
The last time was back in high school. I rode horses all through middle school and high school, and did barrel racing and pole bending in the High School Rodeo Association and all kinds of stuff like that. And then I got into college and I just didn't have time for it anymore, and life took me a different direction.
So my family inherited a horse from our adopted grandpa, and he passed away, so then it got a little intimidating. I had knee surgery, and then I lost feeling in my leg, and my teacher wasn't around anymore. So I had very limited experience with horses. It was mostly he had given us his horse so that I could teach my kids. So mostly lead them around a round pen or something very controlled, something that didn't make my mom heart skip a beat, and you could manage it. So it's been a minute.
I had ridden a little bit as a kid, but really no horseback riding experience, nothing serious. We did have a SSO event where we took out a couple units from Fort Carson, Colorado, a couple Army units. And we did a ride through Guard of the Gods, Colorado, in Colorado Springs, and it was absolutely beautiful ride. And it was a pretty good winding road through the red rocks there of Colorado Springs. And so yeah, I think that was the last time, and that was maybe 6-7 months ago.
Was probably on a horse sometime last year, so not that long ago. One of our programs uses horses. Although, you don't know exactly what to expect. Different surroundings, different situation. Haven't been on a horse in the high country in forever. So that's might as well be a new experience.
Earlier this year was riding horses in New Mexico, and so I've done from Arizona, New Mexico. Every year we generally get on some horseback, do some trail riding. Something simple.
2 years, I think, I did a horseback ride event that I actually rode on, and wasn't just focused on the management side of things, which is usually what keeps me off the horse. The trepidation, I guess, would have been just what are we going to be doing out here, and how well am I going to fit in with the horses, and I guess it just, are they going to like me, and is this going to be comfortable once I get on the horse? I think that that kind of went away pretty fast.
I was pretty nervous. I, again, not being very educated in them, and they're a very big animal with a very smart brain, and that's hard to control. I didn't have a whole lot of idea of exactly what we were doing, and the trail riding was very intimidating for me, but it's an adventure, and I was pretty excited.
I really didn't know what to expect, so I had no expectations. Just kind of breathed into that moment of the beauty that's coming into.
A little bit of trepidation with hopping on a horse and spending, almost a whole week on horseback, doing different events. And was I going to be able to keep up with things and control the horse and things like that? And the team really kind of set us at ease and helped us every step of the way with being ready for that.
I was excited to be back on a horse again. As soon as I saw that email come through of this opportunity, I just, I called my husband at work right away, and I'm like, can I get away this week? And he's like, absolutely, of course. And I just jumped on it because I was excited for the ability to kind of reconnect with that thing that had been a huge part of my life all through. Middle school and high school is very formative years, and so it was a big part of my life then, and excited to kind of reconnect with it.
So that just pulls loose. You just kind of fold it straight over and shove it through that little loop, and then lay that lead rope down in between, and it's a nice kind of easy package to slide on your arm, and then you still have 2 hands to work with.
Usually we stand right at the gate or near a fence post and explain how to tie the knot that goes on the halter and how to then lead the horse and then tie them to something. It's kind of the basics, and approaching the horses, moving through the herd safely, what behaviors to look for that might show agitation or an unsafe behavior for people. It's the very basic starting point. But I think it's kind of fun to explain it to people and then kind of let them try and correct it as needed. And some people get it right away, and other ones it takes them a little bit, but they eventually figure it out. And as long as they're doing it in a way that they're not putting themselves in an unsafe position, I think that's okay. I think people learn a little bit better by messing it up a couple times. Again, as long as they're safe, it doesn't matter to me. The horses don't seem to mind. They're good sports. So it's, I think it's good for everybody. And I notice a lot they help each other. All of a sudden they're like, oh, maybe try it this way if I'm not there to be able to help them. And so I think that's a good way for them to connect with each other, especially for the folks who haven't met before.
The first ride was a little hard in that I had to remember all the lessons I had learned horseback riding in high school. And I'm a different person now. I've had 2 children. My body's different. My personality's just everything is different. And so it took that whole first ride to really remember like what it's like to ride a horse and how you have to kind of trust the horse. Yeah, you can steer them, but you got to trust that they know what they're doing and where they're going, and not try so hard to fight against them and just kind of go with it.
The first ride we were going up, and Sonny wanted to ride on the slope side, and I didn't like that, and I kept trying to steer him, and he's not a car. Like, he was comfortable on that side, and I had to trust that he knew what he was doing. And so I took a deep breath and I said a quick prayer, and then I just kind of let it ride, and I could feel the anxiety go away a little bit. But yeah, I think that's probably where it clicked, was the first ride.
I think Freedom Ranch is a little slice of paradise, really. Certainly during the summer and the fall months. Haven't been here in the winter, but the incredible beauty, God's beauty is everywhere you look. I'm looking behind you and I see mountains and horses and green pasture, and the river running through here is just amazing. It's historical. Some of the buildings have been refitted, but they've been here for probably over 100 years. And so it's kind of fascinating to see some of American history right here on the ranch. Rocks, boulders, there's fish in the stream right over here. And it's quiet. We're, sitting here right now. It's just unbelievably peaceful.
There's a level of magnificence here in the valley that I think when people show up, especially people that come from more of an urban setting, there's a level of calm with the river meandering through the property, the mountain view vistas. There's juniper kind of spackled along the flanks of the mountains. Grass is moving in the wind, and it is the quiet, the intoxicating quiet. And so, especially if you're someone that can put down your device, it is an opportunity really to unwind, find respite, and entertain the quiet, sometimes for the first time in a long time.
What we have is a team, and we practice, what I call leadership fellowship. If we've got the right attitude, if we have the right intention, we certainly all have the same skills. Everybody is willing to step up, and as a collective unit, we work together.
I think our group is, we're a little bit older veterans. So we're all in our 50s-ish, and there's a lot of broken stuff about us, joints and things like that. And I think just the unknown, the unknown of, hey, are we going to be able to do this trail, the sleeping on the ground again? We've all done sleeping on the ground for most of our careers, and that's not novel for us in this kind of environment. For some people, that is very novel. And so the whole talk about our purpose of being here for a leadership team get together for Soul Survivor Outdoor, working on some of our priorities, it is just going to be complementary to those priorities. And it turned out to be very much so.
So we just kind of took it one step at a time, which is kind of interesting because it's maybe a metaphor for what was going on with the horses. One step at a time. Don't just dive in and expect, here's what's going to happen. spend a little bit of time just assessing as you go along. And so I think that was the whole dynamic. And we were a little concerned, we had some pretty good aches and pains going on at the end of day 2. And we're a little worried that, maybe this isn't the best idea. So, but it's worked out quite wonderfully. We all got up there and got back without any issues, and everybody enjoyed themselves.
I'll tell you, the host, Dennis, was awesome, and Leah was really professional and great to work with. So Dennis, on the host side, he had us set up with a nice shelter already where he set dining up and things like that. For the horses, we had to run lines. So you run lines across, you tie them up to those lines to give them a little bit of maneuver space. The reverse of our getting ready, you're taking the saddles off, you're brushing them, getting them ready to just let them relax and take it easy. And then for us, it was just setting up tents. We each had a one-man tent, so going through setting that up. So it was pretty easy for most of us to just pop in there and do that. Most of us brought some water, but we were right by a creek. So we were probably 25, 30 yards from a creek. And so Dennis had a bucket. We'd come up and he runs it through a filtration system. And so we've all, again, done that in our military lives of how do you get fresh water. And so he constantly had a supply. He really did spoil us. I mean, it was a pretty swanky trip to have somebody fixing your food and somebody doing your water. And he even did our dishes and stuff for us. So they treated us well. So they really let us be about our business and enjoying that. So it was good.
We've heard just amazing reactions. I mean, it's stuff that will bring you to tears because a lot of people just have not experienced something like this. And there's something about the bond with a horse that just changes you as a person. And a lot of people have not been able to be around them and experience that, but it's truly amazing. I mean, just they come in and they're scared to touch them, scared to pet them. And by the end of it, they're kissing them and saying bye to their equine partners. And it's amazing to watch. I mean, it really changes you as a person, I think. And we've had several guests say that it changed their life. And that's really great to hear. We love to hear that.
It's really nice to be out, away from everything. There's no cell service out here. So it's not like you at first it's weird to like not have your phone on you, not wondering who's going to text you. But so that's really, there's a lot of freedom in that. And then just being out with other women or, men if you're on a men's trip and being able to just be in the moment is a big thing that I think is necessary, especially in how busy life is and, whatever life has brought you, whatever traumas, whatever joys, everything, just being able to be in the moment and learn from your experiences and really soak it in is, definitely it was worth the 3-day trip for sure.
It makes me think, hey, when I go home, I'm going to take my kids and grandkids and, maybe do a little bit of this as well. And then lastly, just the hospitality was wonderful here. Each person that we brought together, Leah for the horse training, we brought together Dennis for the guiding up here in his llamas, the whole staff here at Freedom Ranch. It really has been, fun to have all those pieces come together. And I think it really helped the community too, helped the community around Freedom Ranch. So it's been a lot of fun, and so we'll miss that.
Just a big, giant thank you. Just the love that you feel when you get here. And how everything has been built and put together in these beautiful buildings. There's a lot of love that goes into creating that. And it might be for some a love of, the building of that craftsmanship, but I think it's a love for the people that come here that just, it becomes infectious from the time you get here.
If you have knowledge of horses and want to come to this, I think it's great because the women can feed off of that and you can be helpful that way. But for other women such as myself that have like no experience, it's just an adventure. It's something, it'll be lifelong memories. It's going to be a challenge to yourself and getting to know yourself and just kind of letting go and allowing yourself to breathe and be comfortable inside the uncomfortable. Just give it a chance. The staff is worth it. The location is worth it. The bonding between women, it's all worth it.
as a veteran, this is just greatly appreciated. To see your work and the care that you have to provide our veteran community with this type of experience, to be able to come out here, fly fishing to horseback riding, is absolutely amazing to be able to say, here's an opportunity for you to be able to go and try to reconnect. We're here to get out, meet up with others. Let's get you out, reconnect you back in society. Culture or society is going to keep going on there. We have to get our veterans to be able to get back into society and they start experiencing things like this. So thank you. Thank you for everything you do, Hardball Foundation, the Freedom Ranch for Heroes. Yeah, this is a great experience, great time. Thank you.
Thank you. It's incredibly touching that somebody would do this for us.
With horses in general, with therapeutic programs or equine programs in general, I really think there's like a big three. And the one that we expect is those animals give us an incredible amount of joy. To be next to a horse, experiencing their breathing, experiencing touching and laying your hands on them, not to mention they're going to tote you around on a mountain. It's an exhilarating experience, so a lot of joy. There's then a physical component, and that physical component, and I'm going to use something like someone with a brain injury or someone with tremors of some kind. When you are riding a horse in a walk, trot, or canter, there's an opportunity for core strength and muscles that you use, joints and connective tissue areas of your body that get exercised, that don't typically get exercised. And so on a healing level, it really does provide a tool for healing. And then add to it, when you don't want to go to physical therapy and you don't want to entertain those exercises on your own, you'll show up for the horse. And so that's a special experience. But I think the unexpected one is horses in their brains, they're sensing animals. We are thinking people. And with a sensing animal, they are very sensitive to moods, to anxiety, and then take into account someone with PTSD or anger issues, or someone who's dealing with depression or anxiety. They say, show me a man next to a horse, and I'll show you who that man is. And so there's a level of experience that a level of something that happens in the experience of being with the horse that really is a mirror that creates a level of self-awareness that people don't always have the opportunity to see. And so, I think that that's something that this program has the capacity to bring to the table. We can talk about trail rides and mountain trips, but when you take veterans, first responders, special needs people, there's a level of emotional connection that happens with a horse that can't be duplicated.
It's a real emotional thing when you get involved in this, and it's just amazing to see how the people respond to what we do. We love their gratitude. It is not necessary. It's more about the reaction to what this experience at this ranch has been to them for that period that they were here.